Hi and welcome, I'm John and this is Unique Warhammer Terrain. Guys, welcome back. For those of you new, welcome. It's a train build. These everything you see on my channel is easy, simple, cheap. It's everything that saves us money and time, gives us more time to do model stuff and saves us money. Or money saved, sorry, saves us, it gives us more money to buy models and paints and glues and etc, etc. So those of you new here, welcome. My regulars, guys, up for love, thank you very much. I'll see you soon, guys. Right, so what am I building this week? On this video, I'm going to build a cow shrine. Now, I've already filmed this bit once. I actually got a few bits and I was checking them out, and you know, whilst I was recording and it didn't work out, so then I scrapped that and got rid of that bit of footage. And I'm actually looking at these pieces of I was actually going to put it on one of these boards for that, but then I thought, no, I don't really want to do that because this makes it a set piece that has to go with that set. I actually want it to be a freestanding piece of terrain. So now I'm looking at these pieces of kingspan that I have. A bigger piece over there, which actually might be a bit too long, but it might be nice. And basically, I was thinking about making, you know, a base and then having steps going up, like a rocky type steps with a platform on top, the shrine on top. Pretty nice, pretty bold. But then I thought weight distribution is going to be a bit lopsided, and I have to put weight this side then to keep it up, and it could make it sort of buckle and stretch it in the middle. And so what I've decided to do is have some sort of, not circle, but some sort of circular rocky bit with some steps, then have another platform with some steps leading up to the, you know, the top piece of the shrine. So it basically just sits probably no bigger than this, yeah. So maybe we're 10 inches across by, you know, 11 inches or something like that. I'm not sure, but when I get a bigger piece out, I might have to cut it down. I've still got more kingspan now. Just these are the only pieces that I've stripped of all the bits and pieces. So as you see, that's what happens to kingspan if it's left out in the elements too long. That's what it should look like, and that's what it happens to. It just discolours it. So that's what that is. So that in case anyone goes, why is that yellow? It's just discoloured by the, you know, sunlight and everything else. So I'm going to grab that piece and I'll back with you in a minute. Right. So I've still got a nice big piece there, but this is sort of the idea. Okay, something like this. I've just cut this bit at the back here so it's level so I can see what I'm doing. And I've got the side piece so it's sort of level so I can see what I'm doing. Because I can also grab the off-cut piece of expanding foam and hot glue them on to give me more rocky like look. So I have to cut some steps and then cut some steps because I want to make a little pathway, but I want to make it a little bit special. Now what chaos god should I do it for? Now I was thinking of Nurgle, but then I have to probably get some, you know, epoxy resin and start making like little swamp areas and stuff like that. I mean, I can do that with the PVA glue, it's not an issue. But I think what the idea I had originally was for Khorne, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick with my original idea and do a Khorne. Yeah, so I'm going to get on with some cutting and sculpting, and you can have a look in a second. See you guys. Right, so before I start all gluing this together, what I've done is I've marked out a path, as you can see, yeah. And the best way to do that is get your blade, run it along the path, not going too deep, just not going too deep on it, just run it in. And then what I'm going to do is, see that, yeah, put it in and just start trying to work out. So foam flying everywhere. Because I'm going to do something really special with this path. It doesn't matter how this looks, okay? I'm not going to tell you the thing I'm going to do. When you see it, you're going to go, oh wow, that's very, very clever, very nice. Doesn't matter if it's deeper in places than others, that doesn't matter. As you can see, yeah, some places a little bit deeper, other places are not, but it doesn't matter. Now, that's all there. All I need to do now is get some cocktail sticks and pin them into it and then hot glue it together. Now something going to say, but it doesn't line up or anything like that. That's fine, because I'm going to use off-cut pieces of expanding foam and hot glue them around. And one thing I do like about this, the back of it, see it, yeah, it just sort of comes up. Obviously I need to fill that in with some expanding foam and some filler mix and stuff like that, but that's not an issue. So I'm going to crack on with that and I'll see you in a second. Right, so I've hot glued that together. I haven't done the expanding foam on the side yet, but what I've done is got a piece of block of Kingspan, and I've drawn a rough Khorne symbol on. Ignore this line and this line, so I'm trying to make it as equal as possible on either side. Okay, drawn a few little teeth at the bottom there. So now what I need to do now is cut this down and carefully cut this out. Okay. So that's where we're at now. It's going to get very squeaky and I do apologise, but I'm just going to cut this out in front of you. Already see it starting to take effect. You know, I say ignore that line again, just try to make this as level as possible. Sorry, the camera keeps flickering because I've got bright stuff in front of the camera. Blade away. And of course I'd break it, wouldn't I? Of course I would. I don't know. I got the piece. That's not an issue because I can hot glue that back on. The pain in the ass, but it's not an issue. Using a ballpoint pen on this one, I'm not going to use the end of the blade. Of course the pen would break on me. Let's go with the lid then. Keep pushing it through the bottom there. Let's try and see what I'm doing. Push it through the bottom there, yeah. Using the lid to scrape out. Yeah, I've just mangled that up. Look, it's mangled up by using the wrong tool. Trying to get too keen and trying to do it too quickly. Right, And I've just broke the other piece off. Oh my goodness me. So, obviously you guys won't do that. That's a mistake. Okay. You won't break the 2 pieces off the side like I just did. Get all this off there. Right, so now I've got the little teeth to do. Now, the one thing I do like about the Khorne symbol, it's very, very simple, apart from what I've just done. It's very simple because it's all straight cuts. Now, I don't need to do the teeth at the bottom here, but I'm going to do it anyway, just because I want to add a little bit of detail to it. You can see that, yeah, you can. So I've got to come around the right way, so I can't see the screen. Right, so then we're at this stage. Take a pen. Take the pen lid actually. They should just fold out. Pretty much like that. Now there's the underneath. Okay, it's not going to really matter because what we're going to do to it. So I'm going to hot glue those 2 bits back on. I'll be back with you in a second. Right, I freshly hot glued it back together. Don't know. Last time I did this type of symbol for something, I did it for my scratch built chariot for Skull Taker, and I made it out of foam board, so it was a lot easier. Not foam board, sorry, Foamex. So it's a lot easier. Now you can see when you look at it like this, it looks pretty, sort of flashing, looks okay. But on the top you can see one side slightly bigger than the other, but it doesn't really matter. It's not a big issue. The join there, you can see the little join to it, does come out because again, when paint goes on there, a bit of filler mix goes onto it, it's going to be, you know, sorted out. The next thing we're going to do, so I'm going to get some wire, okay, and the clippers, which are probably the outside of the workshop. Get some clippers and clip a little wire off. Now that's too long, but I'm going to half that into half. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this wire, I'm going to bend one side like an L shape, okay. I'm going to take this other one, I'm going to bend it like an L shape, and we're going to twist them. Sorry, I'm doing all this off camera, I don't mean to. I'm going to twist them. So we've got something like that, okay. Take another piece. This piece is slightly smaller. I'm going to again bend the end. I'm going to put it, tuck it underneath like that, yeah. So it's going in from this side, okay. If I can hold it properly. And then I'm going to wrap that piece around. Try and get as tight as possible. Yeah. Now, I'm going to take, so that gives me a nice little stand in. Let's make sure it stands properly. It does. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take these two. Sorry, it's a light flickering. Bend them sort of like that, okay, so I can put them in, so I can push them into it. I think I've done a little bit too bent. Here's where I totally fall it apart again. I don't mean to, but this is a crazy idea I've had. So I'm going to push them through the centre there, okay, so it should, it will, once I stand it like that, stand upright. Okay, some people will say, well, what the hell are you doing, John? You're going to see I'm going to hot glue this in, and then I'm going to hot glue this onto the actual piece and have it freestanding. Let's see in a second, guys. Right, here's where we're at. You ready? Da, da. I need to actually go around this side a little bit more with some hot glue, but I just need to let this set for a minute because it's starting to wibble wobble. I was going to use a Pringles lid or like a crisp stacker. They usually come in a little tube. but I couldn't find the lid anywhere. I was sure I got a few floating around, but I couldn't find them. So I just went for this, which is smaller. So leave that to dry for a minute, get some more hot glue this side, because this is going to be blood coming out, yeah, into a little pool of blood, the Khorne Enjoy symbol. So I'm going to crack on that, guys, see you in a minute. Right, here's where I go. So if the light flickers, it's because it's all bright. I've hot glued all these bits off, cut pieces of expanding foam on, yeah. Some more on this side, where are we? There we are. Now, see, like this bit here, that's all hanging over. I'm going to trim that down. What I'm going to do with these bits as well, I'm going to bevel these edges. Okay, I'm going to leave it a minute just so to dry. Bevel these edges as well. Just bevel them a little bit and make them. I might even just cut into them a bit and make them a bit jagged and stuff like that, just to rough them up a little bit. Like I said, this bit here as well. So on top it comes, as you can see, it hangs right over. So I'm going to trim that down so it's sort of level and then just rough up the bottom. What I did also as well, you can't see it up here. Here you can see it. You see along here. I've just give it a squirt of hot glue just to try and seal the joint as quick as I could. Like, not as quick as I could, but as much as I could. So when I come to put filler onto it, I'm not putting filler in and it's going in the hole. Put more filler in, it's going in the hole. It's got a nice little platform to work across. So I'm gonna just get on with trimming that down. Then I'm gonna filler mix it all. Okay, and I'll be back to you then. Right, some of you are going to say, what the hell is this? Wow. There's one thing on here that I should have done that I didn't do, was where this symbol is. I should have made maybe some sort of rock formation behind and had the symbol sitting on it, but you know, I only thought about it afterwards. It's too late now. Now there are a few bits where there's a few white bits still showing through. That's not an issue because when I dry brush it down, the Screaming Skull's going to blend in. I've given it a rough coat of Painter's Grey, which is a very dark grey, but it looks black. As soon as you add a bit of Screaming Skull or a lighter grey, it really pops. Now, there's only one little problem. It's still wet here and there. So when I dry brush this, there might be a few bits where it starts wet blending itself, but it's been 4 days sitting here drying. Yeah, 4 days now. So if I don't make a start on it and try and just work through it, it's just going to be another 4 or 5 days, and then so I'm going to give it a quick dry brush. I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera. I'm going to do a little bit and show you and then do the rest. Okay, so little brush, bit of Screaming Skull on there, and away I go. Now the Screaming Skull is a layer paint, so when I put it on, it will go on bright and then just dry itself, like dull itself down a bit. This expanding foam is absolutely amazing for texture and making stony effect. Can you see that? You can. Now this lot seems to be dry. It's just the base, just this part along here, it seems to be wet. The path is nice and. Can you see the path? I don't know if you can, but I hope you can't see the detail on the path, because when I finish that, it's going to really pop out and you're going to go, oh wow. I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to do something special with the path. I mean, it's not as, I wanted to do more to it, but I got fed up with cleaning the individual parts. When you see it, you'll know what I mean. Now, when I'm dry brushing something like this, okay, the edge here, I want to try and get that a bit more than the rest of it, so it really pops off. Right, so can you see that? Yeah, you can see that stone. See how amazing that looks? I mean, it's hard for me to look at the angle properly, but I can see it. Let's give it a little. Even along each level here, if I get the edge of the where I've carved into it a little bit with the Screaming Skull, it will make it really pop even more. And I'm hitting black paint, so guys, I'm going to carry on dry brush the whole thing and I'll come back to you in a second. Right guys, so you go, wow, let's see it come together. One thing I forgot to mention, I've probably mentioned it before, but just mention it again. When I dry brush in something like this, or when you're dry brushing something like this, or base painting something like this, you're going to paint it from, say, this angle, okay? Turn the whole piece around and do it from, you know, you're still staying in the same position, but you'll just turn the piece around. So now I'm coming in from this angle, yeah? And I'll turn the whole piece around, so I'm coming on from the front. And you keep doing it until you get back to where you started. That way you get every single possible angle that you can see, okay? Might have to go over it again here and there. Like this bit here, I showed you first of all, it was wet. The first bit I touched was wet. What I've done is, where I've dry brushed it, I've mixed it on my paper with the Screaming Skull and just then dry brushed it so it's a really dark grey, but it goes from light grey to dark grey back into light grey again. So it's nice. There's a few spaces like that. Now I've got some Moonfang steel, so another layer of paint, and I'm going to dry brush this bit in the middle here. Some of you thinking, what the hell is he doing? You're going to see it all in a minute. It's going to pop and you're going to go, wow. Right, that's that one. Now I'm going to go with some Khorne Red. Probably should have done this one first, but it doesn't matter. Right, this isn't going to be a dry brush, this is going to be an actual base colour paint. I'm going to get into here. Try and get in between the little gaps where the hot glue didn't quite sit properly. Probably where I didn't put enough on in there. Just taking it straight from the lid, I'd say. I don't want to water it down too much, I don't want it to be too translucent. good thing with this, as long as I cover all of the clear parts of the hot glue, so if any of the black undercoats is coming through, it just looks like it looks proper nice. Looks like proper blood falling down. Very difficult, very difficult symbol to get into, to paint. Give it a quick sort of half dry brush red over. Right, I'm going to leave that to dry for a minute because I still want to do some more work on the blood. Some of you are probably screaming at the camera, John, get closer, I want to see closer, closer, closer. You'll get closer in a minute. We'll get, you know, there's a few more colours to go and then we'll be there. See you then, guys. Right, so I've just given a quick dry brush with beaten copper. And I'm going to go with some Right Red. This is a very old, it's meant to be a foundation paint. It's a red, but that's the colour of it. It comes out really nice like blood. Got the body down here, so I'm going to, where are you gone? There you are. Splash a bit on him. Heads and stuff down here, I'm going to splash a bit on. Just to really just spruce things up a little bit. Where are we? And there is a technique here. You can just flick the brush and it'll give me lots of blood splashes, but I want to try and control it a little bit. So what I'm doing is just getting a bit on there, just giving it a little tap. Make it look like bits of splashed over here and there. It's like a blood soaked ground. The skull's a bit, make it look like it's proper nice. When I say proper nice, blood soaked ground isn't proper nice, but I mean in terms of full nice shrine that is. Might have gone a bit over the top there. I don't know. Right, I'm going to go with some Emperor's Children pink because I have a couple of demonette heads down here, and what I want to do is give them a bit of a dry brush across the hair. Just to pop them off a little bit. One there. This is. Okay. Let's get a bit more of you. Yeah. That's you. Got a little bit of moot green here. I'm going to take a pop. I don't need a lot of it. A little corner piece. Turn it around the dead body I had down here, so it looks like it's rotting away. And it won't look as well. I know it look like it's just a horrible green colour, but it's gonna just break up a little bit more as well. Khorne white. No, sorry, this is White Scars layer paint. I do like this. This is probably the best version of white, but it's a bit clumpy. That's no problem. And we're going to go with a dry brush over the skulls, make them pop. I'm going to give it a little, try and do an edge dry brush on here. Why am I doing that? Because it should make it just pop around the edges a little bit more. I really should have done just made like a little brick wall behind here and put this on the brick wall, the blood flowing out of it. That's because it's a great idea, but it's now that I've done it, I'm like, this is what I should have done. So, you know, you guys want to make something like this, you know, you're best off having it stationary. I know it moves a little bit, but it's not too bad. Now, with this White Scars, I could go around and give the topmost parts of bits of rock just a little touch of a dry brush. I'm not going to, but I could. Now I'm going to go with a stack of red. I don't think this blood is dry yet, but I'm going to go for it because this is a nice, I don't even think it's it is a layer paint. I'm going to go with a little dry brush to try and wet blend it. I'm not going for nothing spectacular here. I think I've got too much paint out of the pot. As much on there as I can, just to highlight it. And for the last colour, we're going to go back to the Mechlite red. Close the lid before I knock it everywhere. Right. What we're going to do this, water it down a little bit. It just free flowing down. The reason I want it free flowing because it's a really nice colour for making blood. I don't think that's what the intention was when they first made it, but it's a good way of doing it now. If I let it free flow down, it will naturally run down, naturally give me like a pulling effect. When I say pulling effect, I mean like it'll run down and sort of just set, make it look like it's flowing down into like a pond, a blood well, shall we say. Right, there we are. I hope I haven't overdone it with the blood splatters. And I hope, actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over their hair again with the pink because it's gone down really dull down. I'm going to have a little brush here. I do. I'm going to switch brushes. Collect this one. A little bit of paint on the brush, just a tiny little bit. See that? Now I'm going to just gently. Should I give the brush a little switch first of all because it's rock hard. But it's a terrain brush and I don't really use it for anything else. Seeing what bit I've missed. Now I've got this, excuse me, now I've got this little brush. The brush is too wet now, of course it is. And when you turn it around, always pick it up from the same point, because if you mess any paint job up, it's only them 2 points that you've messed up at, so you can easily fix that. Of course it is too much. It's actually looking pretty good. I like that. Coming out pretty better than I thought it would. Like, I knew it would be good, but when I put it together and I was like, actually, I should have done. I actually thought it'd come out good, but not be okay. It's actually come out great. Right, so. Right, sorry about a little fumble last minute. It's finished. I'm going to show you some pretty pictures in a second. I'm actually really happy with it, really pleased. It's a crazy idea I had, and you can do it for anything you want. I could have done a Nurgle symbol on there. A little bit more difficult to do, but I could have done it. Nurgle symbol, you would get something like symmetrical like this, little cylinder. You'd get like a lid, not this size, something smaller. You could have this size. I don't know. What you do is make a hole in the middle. Okay. You'll see. There's a little dot there, see it? So you make a hole there and you put that down and you draw around it and you'd use that as a centre point. So then what you do is to move it slightly off centre and then draw around again and then draw a third symbol. That's the easy way of doing that. So you've got 3 circles, or you can do it with compass if you want. I'm going to show you some pretty pictures in a second, guys. It's been a long time getting this done, only because of everything that's gone on. And because the weather's been like 2-3 degrees, so things have taken, as you saw at the beginning of this little section, stuff has started still wet. When I show you pretty pictures, ignore anything that looks wet, painted, because I've just done it now. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and I'll show you some pretty pictures, but I'll see you next time. Take it easy. There's the path I was trying to keep secret. I got fed up with cutting heads and cleaning heads, so I just used some shields and other bits and pieces. They've had some silver and some copper over the top. There's that metric red. It looks lovely, like blood stain, doesn't it? Yeah, that is that metric red. It looks absolutely amazing. So I don't think it was meant to be a foundation paint, so I don't think they actually planned for it to be that way. There we go. And it is quite a big piece. It's just, you imagine you're playing a game 40k and you've got something up here that someone has to get to, and the chaos will try and defend you, or something, you know, or even a game of AOS or Warhammer. It's still, you could even use it in D&D. So that's, you know, it's obviously, I don't know about the Khorne symbol in D&D, but you still can use it in D&D. Just change the symbol. Guys, until next time, take it easy.